diváci, my se nacházíme v Třeboni na Anifilmu a vedle mě je teď pan Adam Elliot, animátor třeba Maria Maxe, a my si teď spolu můžeme chvilku povídat. Tak jestli máte chuť, tak se podívejte s námi. Takže, first question to you is, do you remember what was the first thing you ever made from clay in your life?
Well, when I was a little boy, you know, I was always making things out of plasticine, but I hadn't touched plasticine for 20 years until I was at film school. And the first thing I made, like any typical male, I made a little plasticine penis.
Like children always do.
Yeah, boobies, you know, whatever.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Well, so that's the sad truth. Yeah.
It's not so sad, no worries. You said that your puppets in Mary and Max, they were made from rubber and things like that, and you've changed the material in terms of your previous films. So why did you do that? Because of the delicacy of that material, or is there any reason?
Well, these days we certainly still use plasticine, but we use lots of other plastics and rubber and latex, and it really depends on what the character has to do.
Yeah.
So in my short films, the characters don't do too much, you know. There's a lot of narration, so the characters often are just staring at you, blinking, so they just have to blink. But in Mary Max, there was a lot more, it was more dynamic, so the characters had a lot more to do, so therefore the puppets had to be a lot more complex and intricate. So yeah, it really depends on what the character has to do. A lot of my characters don't have legs, you know, because you never see them below the waist, they never walk, so yeah, it just depends.
I saw only one ant in your, I don't know which film is it. There's a burning ant. So that was lovely.
Yeah, well, I've done a lot of the animals in my films all die horribly. Yeah. I have a large body count. People think I'm quite depressed and sadistic, but I don't like things getting too cute in my films. When things start getting too cute, I tend to kill them off.
I think you can always balance. You are like balancing on the edge, but I think you manage always. Yeah. Do you keep your puppets after shooting? And if yes, so where they are? And how big are your puppets? That's interesting.
Well, most of my puppets are bigger than other animators' puppets because I was born with a shake, and so I can't thread a needle. You know, So I need my puppets to be bigger just because of this shake I have. But sadly, most of my puppets get thrown out after the film because they start to fall apart. The plasticine dries up and crack, and eyeballs fall out, and fingers drop off. And so I'm not, you know, I don't make these characters and the sets and props to be, you know, permanently exhibited in glass cases. You know, they're made for the film, and they're in the film, and they're going to be there forever in the film. So I'm not that sentimental with the characters. We certainly have little exhibitions every now and then of what's left, but it all starts to decay really quickly. And yeah, I've got one Max, I've got one HARVIE KRUMPET, but everything else is gone, sadly.
Wow. Well, but I understand so many characters, you cannot keep all of them at home. That would be like a crazy thing.
Yeah. I'm not a hoarder. I don't. I'm a minimalist. Yeah.
How does it look when you draw a new character? Do you need the artistic chaos around you, or you need a calm and peaceful place somewhere like dark and...
Yeah, well look, you know, so many animators spend a lot of time drawing all these, you know, designs of the characters, but whereas I much prefer to just grab the plasticine and just start, you know, making the characters from the plasticine, and yeah, I find if I spend too much time trying to get them perfect, they just look too perfect. So my characters are very lumpy, very asymmetrical, and they have an imperfect look about them. They look sort of wonky, and that's because we're all imperfect, and none of us are symmetrical and perfect. So I don't like refinement. I much prefer things to look a bit more organic and messy.
Would it be too cheeky from me if I ask you to draw some of your character right now here?
Oh, sure.
Oh, perfect. That's amazing. I got the sketchbook for
Oh,
you.
okay.
And I've got this, or you have your own.
Oh, no.
Or also this one or this one. Which
Okay,
one you
what's
prefer?
that?
That's like versatile.
Oh, maybe that one.
That one? Alright.
Okay, right.
Perfect.
Alright, so HARVIE KRUMPET.
Perfect.
Alright, so
It's
yeah.
probably one of the character you like most.
Oh yes, I think HARVIE's the character that I'll, when I die, that's the character I will remember because of the Oscar. So here we go. Haven't drawn him for a while, so.
That means like a full month.
Oh no, I don't think I've drawn HARVIE for a couple of years.
Oh
But
wow!
I've got to try and remember what he looks like. He's pretty easy. He's pretty easy to look like. He looks like me.
Your auto-portrait.
Yeah, he's my alter ego.
Yeah.
So yeah, he changes a lot over the years too. He ages
like
as
your
age.
ears.
Oh yes.
Yeah, like
Well,
like key.
everyone says they look like Shrek ears, but I was doing my ears way before Shrek came along. So Shrek stole.
Yeah, of course too.
Yeah.
They're doing things. They're repeating.
They're repeating.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always do this little thing, which is in the film.
Yes.
He's got his head's magnetic,
Yes,
so of course.
exactly. Something must be there.
Yeah. So it's table 6, I think that's. Table 6, I think it was 6. Yeah. So here he is. He's bald.
Oh yeah.
And he has, of course, he's got the scar.
Yes.
And he's still playing
Yes.
there.
After 19 stitches, I think.
Oh yes, you've got a good memory. Oh, I can't remember. Yes.
Yeah.
So here we go. I think he was wearing a shirt. Yeah, he was wearing a shirt. Something like that. And
That's amazing. That was always my dream to see you how you draw perfectly.
well, it's a bit wonky. See, as I said, my style's very wonky. But yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a great drawer.
Oh.
I just like doodling. I'm more of a doodler than a drawer.
I love it. That's fun.
There he is.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
I'll sign it for you. It'll be worth millions of dollars on eBay.
No, I will not sell it. I will keep it on my wall
All right,
till
here we
the
go.
end of my days.
HARVIE does his R's back to front
yeah.
as well, because he can't spell. I can't spell, neither can
Wow,
HARVIE.
that's amazing.
Now, how do I spell? Is it G?
G.
D-A-G, D-A-G-M-A-R. And I always do what HARVIE said, which is carpe diem.
Oh yeah, that's a good. That's a good always to keep this thing. Yeah. Wow.
Not very good. I'm,
No, that's perfect.
It's only 10 o'clock in the morning. That's what I can come up with.
Oh wow, thanks a lot.
No, my pleasure.
Perfect, perfect.
Straight to eBay.
Wow. No way. I'll keep it. All right, we can continue here. So you mentioned the love to Jan Schwankmajer.
Oh yes, good old Jan.
So do you remember what was the first film, his film, you've ever seen, and what was the feeling inside you when you seen that?
Well, it was Alice, his version of Alice in Wonderland, which I saw before I went to film school, before I even had any aspirations to be an animator. I didn't go to film school till I was 25. I didn't want to be an animator, but that's another story. So I saw Alice on television in Australia. I didn't know who Jan Schwankmajer was. I'd never seen any of his other films. I just saw this interpretation of Alice in Wonderland, and I thought, wow, that's dark. That's amazing.
Yeah,
and
sophistications and things like that.
Talk about dark subject matter and surrealist. I didn't even know what a surrealist was. So I went to film school and then discovered, of course, he had all these other wonderful shorts, and there were other features of Faust. There was all these other great films, and so I've just been an admirer my whole film career, like millions of other people around the world. My films are very different to his, but I suppose the one thing that is similar is that there is a dark element to them. They're not violence or anything, but there is just dealing with subject matter that deals with the darker sides of life.
You won an Oscar, of course. And how important is it for you in context of your work to have this statue at home?
Well, look, the Oscar was a big surprise. It was never something I aimed to win. It just happened. I'd won some prizes at some other festivals, Annecy in France, and that made us eligible for Academy Award consideration, and then suddenly we were nominated and we went to LA and we were up against Disney, Pixar and Fox, and so we were the underdogs, like HARVIE KRUMPET, we were the underdogs. So we didn't think we were going to, even my mother said, we're not going to win, we're not going to win. So, and then we won, and like all the doors in Hollywood opened and I was offered all these big films to direct, but I said no because I wanted to stay in Australia and keep telling my stories. So we came back to Australia and the government were very kind to us, and they suddenly gave us another $8 million, and so we made Mary and Max. So I got to make my first feature. So the best part about the Oscar was I was allowed to now finally make a big film. So that was great.
So where's your statuette?
Oh, where is my Oscar? Well, for the last 10 years, the Oscar's been in a museum in Melbourne, Australia, with Kate Blanchett's Oscar's there too. And, but recently, they're going to renovate soon, so the Oscar is back on my desk, just sitting there.
Well done.
Sometimes I put a bag over his head because I don't like looking at him. He's naked too. Everyone
Sure.
He's a nudist.
So you said that your Oscar is next to Kate Blanchett's Oscar, so that's why you want to have a Kate Blanchett in your next.
Oh, I've wanted Kate Blanchett to be in one of my films for many years, so her Oscar's in the museum. They're not next to each other, but hers is in the same museum. Look, I love Kate. Everyone loves Kate, and she's an Australian too. And I'd love her to be in my next film. So if you're watching, Kate, look out, I'm on my way.
Lovely. Do you feel different reaction to your movies in a different countries or even in different continents?
Yeah, I think every country is different. Every audience is different. We've shown Mary and Max to younger audience here in Czech, and they laugh at different spots to older audiences. I don't like watching my films a lot because I just see all the mistakes. But it is good to listen to how different cultures react. And here in Czech, I had no idea how well received Mary and Max was 7 years ago when it was released. I didn't even know it was on television here, so I've been surprised how many people have seen it. I think more people here in Czech have seen it than back in Australia. So my films do better in Europe than they do in America, that's for sure. Americans don't understand me. I don't understand them.
Yeah, sure. And how about Australian people? How do you feel about them and their reaction to your films?
Australians are very good, very supportive of me, particularly after the Oscar. They suddenly owned me and were very patriotic. And, I'm very lucky in Australia. The government's very supportive. They fund all my films, and I think after the Oscar too, I became very famous in Australia and lost my anonymity, and I couldn't go to the supermarket without people talking to me. But that was 12 years ago now, so now I can blend in a lot better. And,
we'll see after the 2020 what will happen to you.
When
your next film is
that's
ready,
the trouble.
so
When each film comes out, there's suddenly the spotlight's back on you, and you have to do lots of interviews. And but that's good. Look, I understand that
it's a part of work.
It's part of the job, and you need to do publicity and marketing to help sell your films and get people to come and see them. Particularly now with things like Netflix and all these other distractions, you really have to work hard to get people to go to the cinema. So
And I noticed that in some of your films, you always describe some characters over scents or flavors. I've seen like in Cousin and Mary and Max there was mentioned licorice. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, I like to. Well, there's this myth that when you go and see a film, it's about what you see and what you hear.
Yeah.
But I love to sort of tantalise the other senses. So if you say a character smelt like licorice, you can smell the licorice, you can taste the licorice, and it just adds another layer to the description of the character. So yeah, I love to have the sense in my film. I often tell the audience that the characters smell like something, you know.
And licorice is just some special scent for
Yeah,
you.
I love
You
licorice.
it?
I love, these are my favourite smells. Licorice, old books.
Oh, that's nice.
Old books, freshly mowed grass, freshly baked bread, prawns, seafood. I like the smell of petrol, but that that's not a good smell.
Well,
Too much of that's not good.
you'll be like, oh.
Yeah. So yeah, I love scents, and taste.
Oh. And inspiration for Mary Max is your pen friend from New York. Did you ever meet him?
Yes, I finally met my pen friend who
After
Mary
how
Max.
many years?
After 22 years of writing letters to each other, after Mary Max was finished, we flew to New York and I met him for the first time. Because, you know, I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen the film, but all I will say is he's alive and well.
That's fine, great. What do you do if you have a free time and you don't do animation? Do you have some pleasure things?
Well, you know, the strange thing is, animating is also my hobby.
Yeah.
It's the thing I do to relax, and I wouldn't say I like animating. I like sculpting, I like drawing, I like editing, I like all the other things. And moving the characters, I'm very happy for someone else to do that now. But what do I do to relax? I walk. I'm pretty boring. I walk. I read. I'm a big reader. I love old books, classical literature. So at the moment I'm reading The Grapes of Wrath by Steinbeck. I don't play video games. I don't...
Whoa, what a boring man
I'm so boring. I'm so boring.
Well.
I wish I had something more interesting to tell you, but no, I'm boring.
No, that's perfect. I've seen some dedications in your movies, like for Daisy or for Juliet and Margaret. What are they? If it's not a secret.
No. I like to dedicate each one of my films to, you know, a family member, somebody who's might have died recently. My last film was dedicated to my dad, who just passed away at the end of the film. And look, you know, why not? You know, you got to fill the credits up with something. So it also adds a personal tone to the film. My films are personal stories. They're based on real people. So yeah.
And the last question. You've been talking about the wish to make a movie where everybody will be naked.
Oh, yes.
And did you talk about bodies or souls?
Well, I was doing an interview earlier today and we were talking about taboo subject matter and what taboo subjects would I like to explore. And I certainly don't write lists of things that I want to shock the audience. I'm not about shocking the audience. I just tell stories about things I'm interested in. But, you know, I thought, well, I've never done a sex scene. Maybe I'll do a sex scene. There's a lot of nudity. Masturbation. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, my aim is to make these plasticine characters seem very real and believable and authentic. And to do that, you have to tell stories about real people. So that's why I base my characters on real people. But yeah, certainly I'm not out to shock people, but I do like to challenge and do things that other animators aren't doing. Yeah.
That was the last question.
Thank you. Well, great questions. I don't think I'm going to be able to get up now.
I will lift you up.
I'll just stay here for the rest of the festival.
I will help you. Great man.
Good.
Perfect.
Oh, thank you. That was very enjoyable.
That was very enjoyable.
Yeah. No, I much prefer those interviews to the ones where you.
And thank you.
Oh no, it's a bit wobbly.
I'm very happy for that. Very much. For the meeting.
That's good. So you got a busy day with lots more.
Yeah.
Are you from Prague?
Well, I was born not far away from here,
Oh, okay.
but I lived